YouTube, my name is Mesa Sean, and we are back here on Destiny 2. Okay, folks, in this video, we're going to go over mods. We're going to talk about weapon mods, armor mods. I guess it's going to be an ultimate guide to mods. I did a lot of testing tonight, and I'm going to make some suggestions, some recommendations on what you might want to use, what you might not want to use, and you're going to see me do a lot of testing. You're going to see me put mods on a lot of pieces of gear and weapons that I don't necessarily like, but I'm doing it for the sake of the video and science to see exactly how these mods work and perform. Every day at reset, Banshee will sell 2 random mods for 10 mod components. I had hundreds of mod components going into Forsaken, and you can see I'm down to 48. So by the end of the video, hopefully you will have an idea of what you might want to buy and what you might not want to buy. I would recommend right now, in the early stages of Forsaken, to only put mods on weapons you really love. Now for me, I love my Tiger Spite, and I put a targeting adjuster on there so I get more aim assist. Now I mainly use that for PvP, however I do love that gun in PvE, mainly for the Outlaw perk and also Grave Robber. When I'm getting mixed up with ads, I go for a quick melee, I get ammo back to my magazine. To get mod components, there are a couple of ways. One is pray to the RNG gods, and when you get a drop of a legendary weapon, if it has a mod on it and you do not like the roll, dismantle it and you will get that mod. If you don't like the mod, that mod you can break down to mod components. Another way is check the daily heroic story mission. Sometimes the last call story mission comes up. That's the final story mission within Forsaken. You can run past all the ads, get to the boss, kill the boss. That boss will always drop some piece of armor that will have a mod on it. If you like the mod, keep it. If you don't, dismantle it and you will have a mod component. If you find any other ways to farm for these things, please let me know in the comment section. And no, you cannot do the Anna Bray Polaris Lance Legendary Scout Rifle thing. You used to be able to grab the Polaris Lance precursor, the Legendary Scout Rifle, grab it from your collections, break it down, and then dismantle it and get mod components over and over. Another thing too is go through your vaults. Some of my armor pieces from year 1, they broke down into mod components when I dismantle them. So let's get into mods. We've got a number of mods that we will be working with here today. We're going to focus on the weapon ones first, and then we will talk about the armor mods. I'm not going to focus at all on the mods that give you either recovery, resilience, mobility, things like that. If you want a perfect build with those stats, then by all means use them, but I think you're going to be better off with using some mods that help with supers, grenades, melees, depending on your build. Armor mods will stack, and you want to take into consideration the perks that you have on your armor. If you're running a super build and you run a few super mods, and then you have, let's say, get more super energy from shotgun kills, and you like running around with a shotgun, that is also going to really contribute to you getting supers quicker. First up, let's test the minor spec mod. So this is going to deal extra damage against rank and file enemies. That means red bars, not yellow bars. So right here, I'm just clearing some out and I'm doing 593 per crit. Now here I am just shooting the ogre and I'm doing 297s. Now I showed you that because I want to prove to you that this does nothing to yellow bars or bosses. In all the clips that I will be showing you, I am keeping the same power, the same weapon, the same everything, just changing the mod. So now in terms of crits, I do 639. So in terms of percentages, that's a 7.75 increase. So let's round it up to 7.8. So when you use a minor spec mod on a weapon to take down red bars, you will do an extra damage of 7.8%. So shooting the ogre again, I see the same exact numbers, no difference. This only works on red bars. So my suggestions: do not sleep on this mod. If you have a really good weapon that you like to clear ads, that you like to clear red bars, I always think of the first round of Gambit, lots of red bars. But then the round 2 and 3, if it makes it to 3, is going to be a lot of yellow bars. So we might want to use a major spec mod. Well, let's go into major spec. So major spec is going to deal extra damage against powerful enemies. So remember that pesky ogre in this Lost Sector before? We were doing 297s on him before. Now I'm using it on those red bars again, so my damage went down. It's only doing 593s this time because I'm not using minor spec. But wait until the ogre comes out. It's no longer 297. What do we got? We got 320. Once again, we see the same percentage number as minor spec, roughly about an 8% increase, or 7.74 if you want to be really accurate. So my suggestion would be Use this on weapons that you want to push that are really good already in the damage department. You want to push them further. Rather than take a subpar weapon that's good for clearing red bars and just throw it on there to make it more powerful, no, take a weapon that's already really good for taking out yellow bars and make it even more powerful. Then we have Boss Spec, which increases damage against bosses and vehicles. So here I am doing 226s, and then when I switch over to the Boss Spec, I will do 244s per crit. Now, I would not use it on a scout rifle like this. I was just trying to get some numbers here. But my recommendations would be pretty simple. Rocket launchers that you really like, sniper rifles, linear fusion rifles, maybe some grenade launchers, but anything that you use for a final boss fight. Next up, we have what's called the free hand grip. So it's going to increase accuracy and ready speed while firing from the hip. So I went into a few places and just used this new submachine gun that Lord Shax gave me. He gave me a pretty good roll in it. What I do notice about this is when you're firing from the hip, it tends to want to stick onto enemies. And I mean stick onto them, meaning more aim assist. You do feel the increased ready speed, and in terms of accuracy, I mean, you can't, or at least I did not find when just using this, if I was hip firing, aiming for the head, that it was going to give me crits. That still just felt completely random whether I was going to get a crit or not. I had a couple more in my vault, so I started throwing them on different weapons. Where I really noticed that aim assist was when I threw it on my Better Devils. Now, I don't know if it's the Better Devils or just hand cannons in general. I felt that really sticky aim that when you just scrolled your target over the enemy while hip firing, not aiming down sight, it wanted to stick onto that enemy. Now, I took the mod off, and I also compared it to my base Better Devils from year 1. Now, when I checked out Destiny Item Manager, well, both Better Devils have the same aim assist. And I clearly noticed a difference in the aim assist, and it could be just placebo effect, I don't know. It felt when I was hip firing after putting this freehand grip on, it wanted to lock onto enemies a little bit easier. But this was hard to quantify, so if you're an expert in the comment section, please chime in on this particular mod. Next up, we have Backup Mag, and I was surprised at this one. You know, I was used to our Masterworks for a magazine, and it gave you like one extra bullet. But it is weapon dependent, so this main ingredient went from 5 to 7 in the magazine. Now, you cannot use these on rocket launchers. I know it's not showing the actual mod here, but I had it in my inventory, and I tried it on a few rocket launchers. It would not take it. It would just not show up. Also, on fast-firing sniper rifles that have 7 in the magazine already, you could put the mod on, but it's not going to do anything to your magazine size. On my Nameless Midnight, it went from 16 rounds in the magazine to 19. That's a pretty big increase if you think about it. Nameless Midnight with 19 rounds in the mag, I'll take it. And then depending on the hand cannon, like my Trust went from 10 rounds in the magazine to 13. I don't really have any suggestions for this one. If you have a gun that you want more in the magazine, throw it on and see how much it gives you. Next up, we have the Counterbalance Stock mod. Now this one is going to reduce recoil deviation for the weapon. So here I am using, not the mod, on my Claws of the Wolf. That's the new Iron Banner Pulse Rifle. Pretty fast firing. Recoil's not so great on this thing, so I thought it would be a good choice. So here I am shooting it not holding the right stick at all, and you can see it kicks up and to the left. Once you apply it, it clusters the bullets a little bit, but not that far off. But I did find that when I actually used the right stick, it made it a little bit easier in terms of managing the recoil. The targeting adjuster is my favorite mod when it comes to PvP, but specifically for auto rifles. So it's going to give you more aim assist, which means it will lock onto targets easier. Now, if you have an auto rifle or a hand cannon that has good stability, it's going to make it even better. If you have one that has great stability, this thing is going to become a laser. So I highly recommend this for PvP. I mean, I enjoy it in PvE also, but for PvP, this is my favorite when it comes to auto rifles. Now let's wrap up the video with talking all about armor mods. Now, armor mods are a way to give you back your abilities, whether it's a class ability, your grenade, your melee, or your super, especially your super. If you want more supers and you stack 5 super mods, you will get supers back really quickly, besides killing things in PvE and PvP. But if you combine them with armor pieces that have certain perks, let's say one is, I mentioned it before, extra super energy on shotgun kills, or extra super energy on sniper kills, and so forth. You get the idea. You will get a lot of supers by running a stack set of, well, super mods. mods. So I'm going to throw some images on screen here that break down the numbers, and all of this comes from a Reddit thread, which I will link in the description, from Jonesy2700. Let's talk about super mods first, and Cool Guy Destiny, check out his channel. He did a really good breakdown with all the exact math, which we're going to go over right now. So your base super, if you start off with nothing, will take you about 4 minutes and 58 seconds. If you put one mod, you will shave 22 seconds off, 2 mods, 19 seconds off, 3 mods, 16 seconds off, 4, 15 seconds off, and 5, 14 seconds off. So you can go from 4 minutes and 58 seconds down to 3 minutes and 32 seconds. That may not sound like a big deal, but take into account if you use armor that gives you your super back, but then also getting kills in PvE and PvP and so forth, you will get lots of supers. Your base grenade will charge in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. If you put one mod on, you will get it back in about a minute. 2 mods, 50 seconds, 3 mods, 43 seconds, 4 mods, 39 seconds, and 5, he says no clue, probably 34 seconds. Now for melees, it's going to be basically the same as grenades. It's going to be 1 minute and 20 seconds for your first melee, and then you could take it all the way down to about 34 seconds. Now for the Paragon mods, when it comes to the Warlock Rift, it takes about 1 minute and 36 seconds to get your Warlock Rift back. Now you could shave that all the way down to roughly about 33.6 seconds. So you want to stack as many as you can if you like using your Rift. Me personally, I don't use my Rift too often unless I'm in a bad situation and I need to heal myself. Now for the hunters, when you're using Paragon mods to get your dodge back, Gambler's Dodge, that will come back in 25 seconds. If you stack 5 mods, you can get it back in about 9 seconds. However, if you find a piece of armor with the perk Dynamo on it, hold on to it. Dynamo is when you use your class ability, you get some super energy from it. Now I know everyone makes fun of Xur, including myself, but Xur did sell an exotic right before Forsaken hit. I think it was the Vesper Radius that had the Dynamo perk on it. But if you stack 5 Paragon mods on the Hunter and you have the Dynamo perk, that's going to cut that super from 5 minutes down to 2 minutes and 52 seconds just from dodging alone. I could not find any information regarding how the Titan Paragon mods work. However, if I do, I will put it in the description and also pin the comment. Now the Riven's Curse mods, they come on the gear that you get from the Dreaming City, and I've got the full set on my Hunter and on my Warlock. Now I love this because when I felt underpowered, these give you so much bonus damage when you were on the Dreaming City. However, with Riven's Curse mods, you will take more incoming damage as well. But you could do these purification rituals once a week, and then you could turn it into Riven's Blessing, where it takes away that inbound damage. If you start stacking the full set of gear from the Dreaming City, you will start off with 5% outbound damage and end up with 25% when you have the full set. Now for incoming damage, you will start off at 1 to 2% and end up with 8 to 10% if you have the full set. So what I would recommend is as you start going into the Dreaming City and you acquire the full set of gear, if you have not done the purification rituals, keep your distance, okay? You will notice that 8 to 10% difference, especially if you're not that high power. Things hit really hard on the Dreaming City. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. So please leave me a like in this video if you found it enjoyable or helpful. It does help the channel out. Leave me a hashtag made it to the end to become legend. Hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. I upload daily Destiny 2 content. And do me a favor, drop a like in this video only if you see fit. Follow me on Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream, usually and always on YouTube. And that is it. I am out of here like Vladimir.